So look, today's video is a pretty simple one, and by the end of it, I want you to know 3 things. Number 1, is it possible to make money online? Secondly, 2 methods to make money online. And lastly, the best way to make money online this year. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Iman Gadzhi, and I'm actually a 21-year-old self-made millionaire entirely from the internet. And as much as I like to portray myself as uber masculine, look at these hands. These hands have never picked up a box or a tool in their entire life. So because I wasn't very practical, good with my hands, and I knew I definitely wasn't gonna be some professional athlete or something like that, I had to use this. And it's not exactly like I was set up to succeed. Tough childhood, single mom, yada yada, you've heard it before. I mean, I didn't even finish high school. So when I tell you everything today, it comes from actually 5 years of experience in this industry, starting my first online business when I was 16 and still in school. So let's go ahead and confront the first question. Is it possible to make money online? Now, I'll give you the answer straight away. The answer is yes, but I'm not going to sugarcoat things. It is getting harder. Now, you might think that in the days of Zoom meetings or everyone working remotely from home, always being in close proximity to your computer or your desk, it would be easier to make money online. But just being very honest with you, the truth couldn't be more different. Because anyone can start an online business, a lot more people are trying. So just having a computer, access to the internet, and rudimentary knowledge isn't going to cut it these days. So let's talk about 2 ways to make money online. Now let's talk about some very basic economics. There are really only 2 things that can be exchanged for money, for the most part. You know, there are some outliers. Goods and services. The clothes on your back, the food that you eat, and the phone in your pocket are all goods. Your university professor, the woman who cuts your hair, or for example, the airline that takes you from place to place, that is an example of service. Now, if you're looking to make money online, you really have 2 options. You either offer a service or a good. Now let's start off with goods first, because it's a pretty obvious one. And it's also a pretty attractive one because one of the most richest men in history, Jeff Bezos, built his fortune by selling goods. E-commerce is a $430 billion a year business just in the USA, and it is growing every single year. And what's funny is that selling your products online used to be considered as the second best option for online retailers. I mean, you know, people like Nike, people like Walmart, they insisted that you have to physically go to the store and see a product in order to purchase it. And now it's the other way around. Amazon is one of the most valuable companies on earth, and it started exclusively online, and now it's actually starting to open up some physical stores. And newcomers to the market like Allbirds or Simba mattresses, they don't have any physical stores whatsoever. So it's a pretty good proposition, but by now you have probably spotted a bit of a problem. You don't have any goods, and you don't have anywhere to sell them, and more importantly, you don't have any money to buy the goods to sell them. And look, you know, if you cleared out your bedroom, sold your PlayStation, sold a few coats you don't really wear anymore, you might make a few $100, but that's not really going to move the needle. So it looks like for the most part, goods are kind of off the table. But what about services? Of course, on the internet, you can pretty much buy any service in the world that you want. So let's look at some of the services that you could personally offer. For instance, did you know that there are hundreds of companies that will personally give you, a few dollars, $5, $10, even up to $20 for every survey that you fill in. Also, there is no end to the menial tasks you can do online in return for a fee. Audio transcription, following and unfollowing on Instagram, cleaning of spreadsheets, you name it. And let's do this right now. Go to a site like Upwork.com and start searching for things you could do. I doubt there's a single person watching this video who could be incapable of completing this task. Respond to the post, give them a quote, and you've made money online. It's that easy. So far, it looks like providing a service is a clear winner. It's a better option, doesn't it? Well, there's another problem. You see, for every one of these jobs, there are thousands of people who are desperate to do the same thing, and more importantly, are willing to undercut you. Seriously, these jobs are so oversubscribed that you might spend the entire day looking for a job and not find anything. And here's the hard truth. These jobs don't pay much, so sure, you could, do this stuff online, but at that point, you're actually better off working at Burger King. So now it's time for the final question. What is the best way to make money online? Now, we know that as a beginner with pretty much no capital, it is extremely hard to make money online from goods. And while yes, technically you could make money from, a myriad of the services that I talked about on Upwork or Fiverr, it's really barely enough to pay your rent. So now I want to show you a couple ideas that will fix these problems that you have: a lack of capital and a lack of skill. So let's take a look at a quick example right here. Now, you and your friend both like the look of this cap. So you both decide to buy one. Now your friend sends you 35 bucks to your bank account to buy the cap. Now you use your card to buy it and input his home address for the cap to be delivered to. And in that moment, you've pocketed the difference of $2.01. Now this might not sound like a lot to you, but consider in that moment what you've done. You just made money online by selling goods with zero outlay. You didn't have to pay for goods in the first place. You didn't have to pay for their delivery. You were really just the middleman. And the best part about this process is it took no more than 5 minutes. And if you could repeat this process hundreds of times a day, well then hypothetically you could make a couple $100s a day. So it's a mystery how more people aren't doing this. Well, of course they are. It's called dropshipping. And if you've looked into how to make money online, you've probably already come across this. And it's not always as simple as finding a friend who is willing to pay over the odds for a baseball cap. Dropshipping at scale involves creating brands and websites and selling via online marketplaces like Alibaba. For example, you could sell braided iPhone chargers. Now you would set up an Instagram page and a website to advertise them and get people to check out via your website. And then a piece of software would sync their orders with a fulfillment service and you would pocket the difference. Now, it might sound complicated, but a quick search on Google and you'll find hundreds of proclaimed self-made millionaires who have amassed fortunes using dropshipping. Except I'm just gonna be very honest with you. Most of the time, they are lying. And also, if this was 2015, I would be singing the praises of dropshipping. But in the times that we live in, the shipping costs, the shipping times, it's not really feasible. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's not possible to make money via dropshipping and that everyone who says they are is a fraud. In fact, I have many friends who make millions a year and that's profit. So that means that their stores actually make multiple 8 figures a year because the margins are tiny. But nonetheless, they still make millions. It's just an insane operation. Quite frankly, dropshipping isn't hugely profitable until you do it at scale. And in order to do at scale, you have to have hundreds and hundreds of orders a day. And in order to accomplish that, you need to pay for ads. And, as I know, running an ad agency myself for 5 years, running ads can be a very rocky road. And especially when it comes for dropshipping businesses, because I can tell you right now, Facebook and Google do not like dropshipping businesses. So I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily the biggest fan of this method. Now, let's do a little experiment right now. If you have done dropshipping recently, that is, in the last 6 months, 12 months, let me know what your experience was like in the comments. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the experience probably hasn't been universally positive. What happens most of the time is that people start dropshipping, they run some ads, lose a couple $100s, and then just give up. Hold up real quick, because unfortunately, the YouTube algorithm likes punchy, short videos, and I would have loved to give you an hour worth of content in this video and be a little bit more specific with everything I'm telling you. But that is a big no-go on growing on YouTube. That is why I left a full case study how to go from 0 to 10K a month with your agency, everything broken down. Click the first link in the description, and I'll let you get back to your video. But the funny thing is, dropshippers do have the right idea. What they're doing is using arbitrage. They are leveraging something else. But remember what we covered earlier, there is something better than goods. It's services. And just like you can use someone else's goods to make money, you can also use someone else's services. All you need to do is look at Airbnb, Uber, Expedia. These are massive companies, and all they do is market and kind of package things in, under their name, under their brand, but someone else actually does the service delivery for them. Now let's go back to Upwork.com and actually take a look at some of these job postings. Now here we can see a job for a website design for a technology startup with an amazing $7,000 budget. Now, of course, for this budget, they're going to want something impressive, something a lot better than you could design on Squarespace. So let's go ahead and pull the same trick again. This time, go to another website like Fiverr.com and type in web design. Here, you'll find no end of incredibly talented designers and web developers. Most will even give you a fixed fee, just like this one. That means you could hire them to do the job on Upwork and pocket the difference. The difference? Around $4,000. And this is really where you can start to see the comparison between running an agency and having a dropshipping business. The margins are greater, and really all it takes is one client to make life-changing money, because the example I showed you right here is a one-off job, which I'm not personally a fan of. If you can replicate that every single month with rolling clients, maybe it's not $7,000 a month, but let's say, a very common and realistic example is $2,000 a month in order to manage a company's ads. And then from there, you hire someone for $600 a month in Serbia, Colombia, hell, even Italy, Greece, you name it, and they charge you $600 per month per client. You're pocketing $1,400. You get 3 clients like that, and there we go. That's $4,200 a month pure profit. And yeah, you can travel, you can quit your job, you can do whatever you want from there, really. So it won't be any surprise to you to learn that this is actually how I started my fortune and how I got to where I am today. Now, bear in mind, at the moment, I make around $150,000 a month profit with my agency. This stuff doesn't cut it when you're at that level, okay? In order to get to 7 figures a year with your agency, you actually have to build a real team of full-time staff. Company culture. You know, I still have no offices and our margins are still anywhere from 65 to 80%, depending on how much I'm investing in the business. But, you know, let's say if I just wanted to, you know, just run it as lean as possible, you know, I have 80% margins and it's that everything is run remote. So, you know, don't think that my life is a headache or anything. I work 3-4 hours a week on my agency, and that's also partly down to having an incredible CMO, an incredible team. I'm kind of getting a little ahead of myself. My point is here, whether you wanted to take it to, you know, 150K a month in profit and, you know, grow it like I have over the last 5 years, or you want to just use this arbitrage method and just get to a point where you're making, you know, $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 a month, you can do that just by following this exact method. Now it's time for a recap, because making money online comes down to selling 2 things, either goods or services. Selling goods requires either owning the goods in the first place, which is expensive, or dropshipping. And as I said, dropshipping is a great idea in theory, but as we've seen, most people don't find success with it because of the razor thin margins and the advertising costs involved. Now, selling services is a little bit more promising, but the kind of services you can offer can't be sold for much. So as I said, this is really where running an agency comes in. And this is where I have a lot of experience and a lot of confidence. You see, after a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in the last 5 years of running my agency, because for those of you that don't know, I also run growyouragency.com, which is the largest education platform for agency owners. I've helped thousands of everyday people sign their first client to some of our more veteran members that have helped go from zero to over $100,000 a month with their agencies. So look, I'm not saying that you're gonna go on to be some multi-millionaire online entrepreneur. Well, in fact, you might do. All I really wanted to do here is just give you the cold, hard, honest truth of what it is like running an online business and whether it's realistic for you. Now, the ball is in your court. Look, if you enjoyed that video, I went ahead and picked out another special video that I know you're going to find immensely valuable. You can find it right there. I know you're going to love it, and I'll see you in the next one.